Well, really? Just, okay. Games critics in 2004 weren't Morbius-pilled, were they? Lists of best GameCube and PlayStation 2 games ever aren't being written by Bobby Kotick in a bid to hype up a Spider-Man 2 re-release, are they? I shouldn't be mean to Spider-Man 2, 2004's game adaptation of the 2004 film. It provided a vast, open-world superhero experience many years before hardware properly supported it. While playing it through the Dolphin emulator, I found myself trying all the button presses and tricks I recalled from Sony's Marvel's Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4, to poor effect. But poor fits all over the place here. New York's a ghost town, the cars drive like busted Teslas. Hazy textures abound. The control scheme is lumbering and awkward, perforating every momentary thrill with the fart noise deflation of a crash landing or a psychotic camera. That's unfair on my part, particularly playing this game upscaled to a degree the developers never anticipated. But the copy-paste work required for a game of this scale on early 2000s hardware shows countless ugly seams. The likenesses of the film's cast are not great, even in the pre-rendered CGI. And the acting reminds me that film acting and voice acting are not the same.
Still palling around with that murdering bug?
Harry, I know you think Spider-Man killed your dad.
He did kill my dad. Someday I'll get him for it, too. Tell him that next time you see him.
Yeah, well...
So good.
I never played this game in 2004. I did see the movie. It's my favorite superhero movie. And I remember the game's hype. Feel like Spider-Man. My memory actually blends this game and PlayStation 3 hype too, despite the game predating the PlayStation 3 by more than a year. But Sony was full bore into its Raimi-era Spider-Man branding right around then. Remember that font? I could rewatch Raimi's second Spider-Man film today and forgive every dated and goofy flaw. But I can't play 20 minutes of this video game without suspecting it was a prank that developers Treyarch pulled to convince everyone to let them make only Tony Hawk games into perpetuity. I can't capture the sensation that IGN's 2004 critic had. This game can't make me feel like Spidey. If I played it 18 years ago, maybe. Games lose the luster of the new quickly. The medium is still young and has piggybacked for decades on the rapid development of computer hardware and programming sophistication. The visuals alone of old generations age miserably, or at least they did until maybe a decade ago when the uncanny valley curve of graphics quality began to plateau. Even so, those few that do hold up, Doom, Super Mario World, Ocarina of Time, do so with exacting quality, timeless aesthetic, and master craftsmanship, as if their developers had time machines and used them a bit stupidly. That being said, revoke my gamer card, I hate playing the original Doom now. Its level design is mean and obtuse, maybe not by 1992's low standards, but by my own right now, which is what matters when chasing down a blue key back at the start of a map I already crisscrossed twice. I played Wolfenstein as a kid, but not so much Doom, except with cheats on, level skipping to the boss size stuff. Doom holds my attention mere moments, enough to say, oh yeah, I remember that sound effect, and then switch it off. I've played Super Mario World so many times that I could run the first couple worlds in my sleep and play the music too. But once I hit those later, less replayed levels, my focus flags, and ultimately I wander to more fertile pastures. Nostalgia's the fuel for old games, not quality. Now your mileage may vary here, I'm speaking to my own experience. I know plenty of folks still play the original Super Mario Bros. Like it's the only cartridge in their NES. They're called speedrunners. But think about how nigh unplayable many NES games are now for those who never played them before, and consider by comparison how few lovers of art would, upon first viewing, dismiss Monet's Water Lilies because he painted it 30 years before Picasso's Guernica. Here's the thing though, nostalgia in and of itself is a powerful cultural artifact. The broad aesthetic of past eras lingers far beyond its transition into cliché or pastiche, and contemporary art often mimics cultural aesthetic. Look at Art Deco or Andy Warhol. Games live at the technological cutting edge, so perhaps they're best considered in comparison with the most dated of 80s cinema soundtracks, or the language of classic noir films. Whether you're reliving a childhood memory or trying to access some immediate understanding of a history you never experienced, the most dated art and artifacts have value beyond whether they're good by a modern standard of craftsmanship or quality. As much as I'm tempted, I won't transition into a pro-emulation screed, but I will leave you with this. As much as I hated playing, I'm glad I can play Spider-Man 2 now, without needing to find a TV with a composite video port. I'm glad that long after all the GameCube discs on Earth deteriorate into sludge, some bit-perfect replica of Tobey Maguire's miserable, labored line readings will persevere, and perhaps generations to come can see how ugly ragdoll physics could be in 2004. And playing the game in 2022 does nothing to dilute the nostalgia I feel just by looking at its cover art.